This is Joshua Hart 4 seconds out. Delighted to be joined by Nick Campbell for the second time this week. Nick, we have now seen the undisputed heavyweight title fight take place. Oleksandr Usyk victorious again against Daniel Dubois, a brilliant display from himself. What was your view on the fight? What have you took away from it?
Listen, I thought that Dubois maybe had a chance if he could start really fast-paced in the first five, 6 rounds, but Usyk just took the fight away from him. Dubois looked really apprehensive, to be honest with you. Never really looked to get in his rhythm. Usyk his preparation of attack was unbelievable. The work he was doing on the lead hand with the feints just never allowed Dubois to get any shots off. And yeah, he just showed what a class operator he is. I thought if anything, Dubois didn't look very sharp. I don't know what's going on in his prep, but I thought it was very interesting when Derek Chisora, I don't know if you've seen Derek Chisora's comments, and he just said you're training to be a killer, so surround yourself with people that are killers. Don't know if I can read into that too much. Was he maybe hinting at something that had went on in Dubois' camp before the fight? Yeah, it was quite a an interesting comment from Derek, who's pretty close to Don Charles and all that. Maybe he knows something we don't. But I just thought it was probably a bit as well. It made him look very, very average in there, and an unbelievable finish from an unbelievable fighter.
With Dubois, he had a very good first round. Yeah, he was on the front foot, backing Usyk up, and then something just seemed to switch. It almost seemed like Usyk just thought, well, this isn't going to work. And then even despite, we know Usyk has always been the smaller man at heavyweight, he just finds a way to dominate and control the ring. What was your
Yeah,
thought on the
yeah,
adapting?
yeah. Listen, I think I've been over in Russia, and the Russian, the Ukrainian style of boxing is very similar. And they call it the Russian school of boxing. And they always talk about the preparation of attack, and it's like preparing for your attack. And if you look at the amount of foot movement, head movement, lead hand control, lead hand feints, everything Usyk's doing is all setting up his attack. And then he was just walking the ball into the shots really in the end. He let him fall in, fall over the front foot, and then he just catched them at will. I think a couple of times Dubois stepped him with a double jab, and he just timed them and countered them with that backhand left over the top. And it kind of just stopped any momentum coming forward and made Dubois really think twice about stepping in behind his double jab that he's had so much success with in his last couple of fights. So yeah, just Usyk's a master technician, master in the boxing ring. And yeah, he kind of, I know we spoke a little bit about the Wembley factor and it being Daniel Dubois' home turf, but I don't know, it kind of felt like a home fight for Usyk when you're listening to the crowd and how much the UK fight fans love him now after everything he's done in the ring. And obviously the type of guy he is, you can't help but admire him. I think he's almost got the home support now and every time he fights in the UK.
Absolutely. One thing with Dubois, is that what we saw is how quickly he kind of drained. Do you think it was more he was mentally drained because Usyk's very good at doing that? We've seen him do it to many fighters now, where he just drains you mentally and gets to you, but he's always seemed to get to the bar a little bit quicker than everyone else. Do you think there maybe is still that mental weakness that people spoke about with the bar in the past? Do you think that kind of crept in a little bit again last night?
Don't think it's a mental weakness. I think it's a strength and a weakness at the same time. I think Daniel's the type of guy that if he can work you out and he can put you under pressure, he's happy, he knows what he can do. It doesn't really matter if you hurt him or you get him going, or he'll always come back and he'll always keep that belief if he knows that he can get on at you and put pressure on you and hurt you. But I just don't think his brain just can't work out how to beat Usyk and it just switches down. You seen it like it just happened quicker this time round. Um, yeah, Usyk just completely outthinks him. And like I said, the only chance against Usyk was to outfight him. It was never to outbox him. And yeah, Usyk just never allowed him to do that. The boy's not a listen. He's a talented boy, but you wouldn't say he's a, ta a tactical boxer. He just goes in there and tries to kill guys, wipe them out, not bowl them over with shots, be aggressive, be more powerful than them. There's not a lot of skill in what he's doing. It's just go in there and smash people up. But you can't do that against Usyk. It's not enough.
Were you surprised or by how quickly Usyk was able to stop Dubois? We've never seen Usyk stop someone that quick at heavyweight.
Yeah, I was. I was. I didn't think Usyk. I'd said to you before, I thought Usyk would win by a late stoppage. So I thought he would stop him, but I didn't think he would stop him inside the first 6 rounds. And I think maybe it came a little bit from some of the comments and the way that they'd conducted themselves before the fight. Maybe just gave him that little bit of edge to put it on Daniel a little bit earlier and try and show who the man was, if you want to put it that way.
Going forward now for both fights, we'll start off with Usyk. What would you like to see Usyk do next? We've seen a lot of mixed comments. Some people saying fight Parker, a lot of people saying retire on top. What would you like to see him do?
Yeah, I, obviously from a selfish point of view, I'd like him to fight Joe. I think that Joe gives him the best fight out of any other heavyweight in the world right now. And listen, I'm biased, so I back Joe. Do you know what I mean? But it's a very, very tough fight for him. But he's the only other guy that you could maybe argue as well as Caballero. Joe and Caballero have got the biggest claim to deserve a fight with Usyk. I'd like to see Joe. Other than that, there's nothing really left for Usyk to prove. So unless it's Joe, I'd probably like to see him retire. I know that Jake Paul was there talking about making him have an MMA fight, which is interesting. There's probably a lot of money in that if he fights Jake Paul in the octagon. But do you know what? He looks like he's a pretty good wrestler as well, so he'd probably smash Jake Paul up at that as well. I don't know. I think he still wrestles once a week as part of his training schedule, which is why he's working the clinch and work inside so good. Doesn't allow people to get close, tie him up. But going back to more realistic things, then yeah, probably like to see him fight Joe. I think Joe's the only guy left of this era that he's never fought or beat. So that's a chance at Usyk to increase his legacy. And for Joe, it's probably the only fight out there that's going to get him straight world title shot and a chance to stake his claim at being, one of the best guys out there. So that's the fight for me if he's going to continue, and if not, he needs to retire. I'll go and fight Jake Paul for 100 million in the octagon. That'd be quite good fun.
That would be pretty good fun. Just lastly, Daniel Dubois, where would you like to see him go next if you were part of that team and discussing the rebuild? Obviously, I'm sure they'll be saving that conversation for a few weeks down the line, but what route do you look to take him down? What names do you think would make a good fight for him to come back to?
No, I've not really thought too much about it, so yeah, it's a hard one. I think he can definitely come again. Do you know what I mean? He's only what, 27,
Mm.
28, 27, so he's still got plenty of time as a heavyweight. And let's be honest as well, he's beat off probably the best fighter of the generation. So there's no shame in losing to Alexander Usyk. Do you know what I mean? He's a world class fighter who would have been, probably dominant at any era as well, going back through history. So no shame in defeat. Going forward, I don't know. There's probably quite a few fights out there for him. Maybe somebody like Martin Bakole, maybe a Caballero if he wants to come straight back in at the top. I've seen Hamza Shiraz talking about how bouncing back from a, a setback and coming straight back in at that higher level sometimes is the best way to do it. And with Daniel's, attitude and mindset, he'll back himself to do that as well. So maybe like a Caballero, a Martin Bakole. If Usyk ends up fighting Tyson, which has been spoke about, maybe he could come back and fight Joe. That fight that was supposed to happen that never happened. It might be a chance for those two guys to get in. I think Joe's going to try and wait for the world title, but yeah, somebody like that, I think he should try and come back in at the top. Maybe even the AJ rematch. I don't know if AJ would take that. But yeah, something like that. He should try and get straight back in at the top level. I don't think there's too much of a rebuild required because, like I say, there's no shame in losing to Usyk. And if it's anybody else on the night, it's probably a different fight.
Absolutely, Nick. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much for your time. Always good to catch up. I'm sure we'll catch up again very soon in the near future. Thank you.
Speak to you soon, man. Thanks for having me.